Cash is king, so they say. Hello, everybody, and welcome to SuttonsDaze. If you're new here, my name is Lisa, and we're all about pantry preparedness. And today we're going to delve a little bit into how we deal with our pantry and something to stock in your pantry, that's important to consider. With all of the horrors that became daily life due to Hurricane Helene, one of the things realized pretty quickly was that if you didn't have cash, you didn't have currency. And this is something that we need to be thinking about, that we need to be cognizant of, that we need to prepare for just in case. During crises like economic instability, civil unrest, natural disasters, right? Financial systems can crash. They can experience disruptions, including bank closures, ATM malfunctions, or internet outages, because everything's connected to the internet nowadays, right? Preparing for these potential disruptions, these interruptions, is an important part of our preparedness journey, especially if we are just now getting started with it, because having cash on hand in case of an emergency is crucial during those first few hours. We're not only going to talk about keeping cash on hand, but also securing your digital assets. The one thing I'm not even going to attempt to try here is cryptocurrency. Don't know, don't care, not playing. It's just not my thing. And by all means, I am not a financial advisor, folks. I am going to be working until 3 days past my death certificate because, retirement? What? The importance of having cash on hand. Okay. When financial systems are compromised, cash is so important. Relying solely on digital transactions or bank cards can leave you basically high and dry, unable to access your money. And there's nothing worse than having money and not having money. You know what I mean? So having cash on hand ensures that you will have the ability to make essential purchases and cover emergencies. Yeah, because emergencies don't care if you have the money in the bank. They really don't. Why should you do it? Really simple. ATM shutdowns. We've seen this happen just recently, okay? ATM shutdowns. In crises, ATMs, may stop working due to power outages or cash shortages. If the cash isn't in the machine, it can't give you the cash. It just works that way. Card processing failures. You ever been in there when their machines don't work, right? Point of sale systems may go down if the internet is disrupted, preventing card transactions. We see this all the time. Cash is accepted in more situations than electronic payments during a crisis, because during a crisis, most of the time there's no power, But if you've got cash, you can own just about anything. The big question that we get on a regular basis is, how much cash should we keep? That's totally up to you. Okay, but the aim is to have at least 2 weeks worth of living expenses in cash, accessible. Consider daily expenses like food, gas, and essential supplies. That's what you want to have on hand. Denominations should always be the smaller bills. Now, if you are like a lot of us, we also buy junk silver or pure silver, and we have that set aside. That is, I wouldn't call it an investment, but it's securing funds because it's actually backed by what you're holding, and it goes up and down and up and down. But would I, during an emergency, take my silver dollar, 999 point silver, blah, 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 whatever, and try to go buy milk? No, I would not. So you want 1s, 5s, 10s, and 20s rather than large bills, okay? In an emergency, forget change. There's no such thing as change, and definitely not correct change. So the next big question that we always get is, well, where do I put it? We always heard about grandpa putting money in the mattress, right? Or grandma tucking it in there. Ideally, you want to divide it in different locations, and I'm not going to tell you this, that, because why would we, right? But think about this. Store cash in different secure locations in your home, i.e., safe hidden spots, so you're not relying on one stash. So if something happens on one end of the house, you still got the stuff that's on the other end of the house, or the stuff that's in the middle, or the stuff that's in the cash out on the property someplace, or, that kind of thing. Carry some on you at all times, literally at all times. I'm not saying walk around with hundreds and hundreds of dollars on you, right? But carry some kind of cash, because how often have you gone in and they don't take your card? So you can either walk away from your purchase, or you can pull out that little bit of cash that you've got. You can replenish it, So keep a little bit in your wallet. Keep a little bit in your bug out bag for sure. Keep a little bit in your vehicle. Not a lot, just a little. I always had an old pill bottle. Phil would fill an old pill bottle full of quarters for me, and that was my emergency stash in the car. Do you remember back in the day? Oh, I'm aging myself. Where if you didn't have at least a dime on your person, you were considered to be, it was illegal. What was the word they used? Drop it in the comment section down below. I can't remember. So, that's where to store it. So how much should you keep? About 2 weeks. Definitely have some that you're stashing here and there. Always keep some on your person, in your get-home bag, in your wallet, in your car. Number 3 is where to safely store cash, because not every place is safe, and I'm not going to give you specifics like, your mattress. Yeah, it's not on my mattress, folks, I can guarantee you. There are home safes. There are good quality home safes that you can buy. They're fireproof. We've gone through all the whole thing. They're fireproof, waterproof. Put it so that it's secured to a wall or a floor, and this protects your cash from disasters and theft. Not all disasters, some disasters, okay? But definitely if it's bolted to something, it's going to prevent theft. Discreet hiding spots. Treasure maps. Think treasure maps, okay? There's a lot of people that I know that create caches and bury it somewhere on their property, or somewhere, that is their emergency meetup spot, or whatever the case may be. So if a safe is not an option, consider a secure hiding spot that is hard to locate but easily accessible when needed. So if the whole house is on fire, I'm not digging through something in here to grab cash, but there's that cash out at the end of the driveway. There's not, you guys. Okay, I'm just saying, that I can get to that has some cash in it for an emergency. I'm the only one that knows it's there, or me and my spouse, or me and my spouse and my kids, Don't make it so much that you would seriously miss it if it were lost. Make it enough for an emergency. Digital financial safety. This drives me nuts. It absolutely drives me nuts, okay? I think I'm pretty safe and secure. I don't click on anything ever. So when I logged into my account one day and found a few $1,000s gone, and I'm like, what? No, I did not go to the Hyatt twice. No, I did not. What is this company? I don't know what this is. I mean, literally over $3,000 gone. I had to call my bank, cancel my card, start the thing with them so that they investigated it to get my money back. My account was locked up tight for just under a week. I couldn't pay a bill out of that account if I wanted to, because, digital security, all that fun stuff. So in addition to your physical cash, protecting your digital assets, whether that's bank accounts, investments, etc., it's essential. It's really important. During internet outages or bank closures, access your online financial resources, because they could be limited or unavailable. One of the ways to do this, and I had somebody explain this to me once, especially because we live in a very small town where everybody knows everybody and most everybody's related, is that you don't keep all of your money in one bank, okay? You spread it out, because that way nobody knows all of your business. But in our case, if you don't live in a small town, if you live in a big city, it's so that not everything is in that one bank. And if you can't get into that one bank for whatever reason, it's accessible at the other bank. Or try a credit union, because they tend to have different infrastructures. That's the word I'm going to go for, as far as their banking goes. And they could be, I'm not saying that they are, but they could be more resilient or differently resilient as far as disruptions go. So credit union, bank, whatever, but spread it out to a few different places. It makes it a little easier if there's an issue with one particular bank. Look at how many banks are closing, right? It was like a game last year. I mean, which bank is going to close now? Another big thing with your financial security, okay, is to back up your financial documents. And I'm not as good at this as I should be. Definitely something that is on my agenda to address on a more regular basis, kind of put it on rotation with the other stuff that I do. You want physical copies, especially if you know something big is coming up. You don't know if it's going to turn bad. You don't know if it's going to turn good. Let's think the election, okay? You don't know what kind of chaos is going to happen. And so I'm going to be on the safe side. I'm going to go print off all my balances of my account. I'm going to print off my transactions and my balance every night so that I know what's in there when I go to bed. It's a complete waste of paper, but it's a way to check and see what's going on. If you don't want to print it out, take a screenshot, save it in your photos on the cloud or something, keeping some kind of copy that you can print or that is printed of essential financial documents. That's it. Essential financial documents like bank account numbers, credit card information, insurance policies, investment accounts. Those are the kinds of things you want hard copies of, physical copies. Then you want the digital backups. Store these on encrypted USB drives or secure offline cloud services. There's a lot of them so that you can access them even without internet. With the thumb drive, you can access them anytime. If it's on a cloud service, you may have some issues. You know what I mean? But you want those backup to the financial documents to make sure that you are where you're supposed to be. Security measures for your digital accounts, there's going to be a plethora of different advice out there, but two-factor authentication, thank you, is a hassle. It's a pain in the hoozy what's-its. Do I know it? Do I have it installed on practically everything? Yes, I do. Do I hate it? Every single time I go to log in, I hate it. Because if I'm logging in on my desktop, I have to go grab my phone because I need to be able to get the code, that kind of thing. So enable your two-factor authentication, 2FA. They're doing it for our safety. They're doing it for our benefit. And sometimes we have to just man up a little bit and accept the responsibility to do the hard things. It's not that hard. It's not like you're getting in your car and driving across town, The next one is password managers. There is so much conflicting information out there about the right way and the wrong way to do passwords. And if you're like me, I am in and out of so many different things that require passwords every single day, every single hour, that to me it was, let's try to make something that I'm going to remember. No. There are different ways to handle it. I would definitely do some research to see which one fits best for you because I'm no authority on this, okay? They do have password managers out there that you can subscribe to that I hear really great things about, and I'm probably going to end up getting. But you store your passwords in that, and that helps you to log into the different websites. There's a bunch of different stuff. It's not as simple as you shouldn't do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or you shouldn't do your anniversary date, or you shouldn't do your husband's name or your address. Those are the common sense ones, but it's not always that easy either. And trying to remember some of these, because the more that you put in capitals, uppercase, lowercase, numbers, exclamation points, or, those kind of symbols, the more that you do that and jumble it all up and mix it up, that's great, but there's no way you're going to remember that. So you need a password manager in order to pull that off. Definitely investigate password managers and do your research on it. Don't just go with the first one that you see, okay? Monitor your accounts regularly. And this is where I go back to printing off every night your balances. I am in and out of my my accounts on a regular basis, daily practically, just to make sure that I don't miss anything. The other day, we got a deposit from Social Security. I'm like, why is this in here? This should not be in here. Why is this in here? And we called the bank and they couldn't tell us. And trying to get through to the Social Security office is a riot. Phil finally found out today that they were reimbursing him money because they no longer pull out Medicare deductibles or whatever it is. And so they reimburse the money that they had been pulling out. And the letter will be going out next week. You send out the letter a week or so after you deposit the money. I'm like, Phil, I mean, it's not a huge amount of money, but it's a nice little chunk. And it's like, well, now we have to babysit this money until we figure out who it belongs to. My gosh. The government doesn't do things right often. So you want to monitor your accounts, because when you see those irregularities, you need to be aware of them. Okay. It's one of those things. You get up in the morning, you brush your teeth, you pour yourself a cup of coffee, check your bank account. It's a good thing. More on the emergency digital access, right? Because in addition to printing off, what's in your account, being aware of it every single day, there are suggestions that maybe you should get alternative payment apps, but I would say be very, very careful with those. Be very careful. I know that my bank uses Zelle, and I didn't have a single problem with my bank accounts until I downloaded it. It may just be coincidence. I didn't actually hook anything up. I just downloaded it. So who knows? Alternative payment apps are something that is suggested to have. So look at things like PayPal or Venmo. I don't trust Cash App. I don't trust quite a number of them out there, but PayPal and Venmo are secure, and they're trusted, reliable sources. So sometimes having that peer-to-peer payment app is very helpful. I am not a Cash App fan, ever. I see a lot of scams happening on Cash App, so I don't deal with them when at all humanly possible. And the minute my bank says no, I go, this is a scammer, because your bank's pretty smart about this stuff. Bartering as a financial backup. Now, you know my stance on bartering if you've been with me for any stretch of time. I do not stock up to barter. We don't drink alcohol, so I am not buying alcohol to trade in the future during some dystopian event, okay? No, I'm not. I got better things to do with my limited funds. So I only buy what we use. I only stock what we use. But if things go south, right, and cash is not an option, then having something to barter is helpful, okay? So essential goods like canned food, batteries, toiletries, first aid supplies, they can be valuable for bartering. It's not that you're buying something that you don't use, it's that you're buying more of it, and then if somebody needs it and you need something from them, you can barter it without causing any hardships to yourself, The other one is skills and services for bartering. I mean, honestly, skills, we need skills, big time. So consider what skills you could offer in exchange for goods, such as home repair, gardening, or medical assistance. There's got to be something. Down below, I have a financial preparedness checklist for you to print off. It's very small. It's very small, okay? But you'll have it. It's printed off. You can go through and check them off as you go. Number 1, ensure that you have at least 2 weeks of emergency cash in small denominations. That's 1. Number 2, safely store your cash in a secure location, fireproof safe, etc. Okay? Number 3, keep multiple bank accounts and diversify across institutions. That's big. That's really big. Number 4, back up important financial documents both physically and digitally. Not just one way. Do it both ways. Number 5, use strong digital security measures, such as 2FA and password managers. It's important. It's a hassle. It's a pain in the whoozy whatsits. It's important. Next is to have some of those peer-to-peer apps, one or both, PayPal or Venmo or both, okay, as backup payment methods, because you can go through them, they go through your bank, you don't have to access your bank, you're good, And last but not least is to stay informed of potential financial disruptions and adjust accordingly. You need to be able to pivot. You need to be able to go, banks are closed, and pivot. What is your next step since the banks are closed? What are you going to do now that the banks are closed? What are you going to do now that you heard that something crashed because it got hacked? Or you need to run these scenarios through your head. You need to have methods in place so that you can pivot. The first is to be aware of what's happening and then adjust accordingly. Preparing for these potential situations by keeping cash on hand, okay, and securing your digital assets is crucial. It's a shame that we have to, but we do. And I hope that somehow this helps you and guides you in the steps to take. It's not a how to, okay, but it's a this is what you need to look into, because I'm not a financial expert, never claimed to be, but these are important steps that I think that we all need to take. Preparing for these potential interruptions by keeping cash on hand and securing your digital information is crucial. It's a crucial part of preparedness. We all need to take time to do it. It's not fun. It's not sexy. It's not comfortable. It's a pain in the whoozy whatsits. I get it. But we own that responsibility in doing everything that we can to make sure that the bad guys can't get to it. If you want to check out more on getting your pantry prepared, check out this playlist right here. Until next time, everybody, be safe. Stack it to the rafters, my friends.